How will Asia be impacted if Russia completely collapses as a result of the war in Ukraine? The war in Ukraine has led to widespread sanctions against Russia from Western countries. Russia is the most sanctioned country in the world. These sanctions have significantly impacted the Russian economy, leading to inflation, capital flight, and a reduction in foreign investment. However, Russia has bypassed the Western sanctions and its economy is surprisingly recovering. And now it's the fourth largest economy in the world. But for the sake of argument, let's suppose that the Russian economy and the country as a whole collapse. What impact would that have on Asia? Geopolitically, the absence of Russia would lead to a power vacuum in the region. Firstly, let's understand the concept of a power vacuum. This term describes a situation where significant authority or influence is removed, leaving a space that others may rush to fill. If Russia were to undergo a sudden political or economic collapse, it would leave behind a dramatic absence of central power and control. A weakened Russia might encourage countries such as Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan, which have long held grievances against Russia, to pursue more aggressive foreign policies, potentially leading to renewed tensions. For example, territorial disputes, particularly those involving ethnic groups, could flare up. If the authority of Russia was diminished, we might witness these nations taking bold steps to resolve their disputes, and possibly triggering violence. Central Asia is home to several former Soviet Union republics, such as Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan. Although these countries have maintained varying degrees of independence since the Soviet Union's dissipation, they still share historical, economic, and cultural ties with Russia. If Russia were to collapse, Central Asian nations might feel emboldened to redefine their identities. Kazakhstan, for instance, might seek to extend its influence further into the region, while countries like Uzbekistan could strive for greater political autonomy. And this could lead to conflicts among neighbors as territorial claims are revised. In addition, we cannot overlook the Far East, where territorial disputes, especially with China and Japan, could intensify in the absence of Russia's stabilizing role. The Russian Far East is a region rich in resources and strategic importance, and its vulnerability may prompt neighboring powers to make bold claims or even military posturing. But it's important to keep in mind that the military posturing will come from Japan, not China. Why? Because it's allied with the West. And as usual, any tensions in Asia is a perfect opportunity for outside powers to exert influence or even destabilize the region. Historical grievances between nations can easily resurface in this context, leading to heightened tensions and possibly even military skirmishes. Furthermore, the collapse of Russia might lead to a domino effect where other powers, both regional and global, may attempt to exert their influence in the vacuum left behind. Turkey could seek to expand its role in Eastern Europe and Central Asia, possibly leading to new alliances, tensions, or competition. And countries such as China, Mongolia, and the Central Asian republics might be concerned by the potential spread of extremism in the region. As the region faces this uncertainty, these nations could react by increasing their military readiness. This response is likely to create heightened tensions, especially in areas already sensitive to issues of territorial integrity and sovereignty. Countries bordering Russia might worry about their own security. Would a weakened Russia lead to instability that spills over into their territories? Would extremist groups or sectarian violence take advantage of the chaos? These questions could push nations to take preventative measures to safeguard their sovereignty and ensure their territorial integrity. For instance, China, which shares a long border with Russia, may feel compelled to enhance its military readiness, while China has its own ambitions in the regions, such as its Belt and Road Initiative. The uncertainty surrounding Russia could disrupt trade routes or create conflicts over resources. Mongolia, located between China and Russia, faces a unique dilemma. Historically, Mongolia has balanced its relationships between these two giants, but if Russia becomes unstable, Mongolia might feel the need to strengthen its own military defenses. The Central Asian republics also find themselves in a precarious position. They might face threats from regional disputes or rise in extremism. Heightened military readiness can lead to a regional arms race, as countries perceive each other's military advancements as threats. For example, if Kazakhstan increases its military spending, Uzbekistan may feel the need to up its own defenses in response. This could spiral into a situation where nations that once might have cooperated are now at odds, each preparing for conflicts that may arise from misunderstandings or miscalculations in a highly tense environment. But if Russia faces challenges, China stands to gain in many ways. With Russia in a weakened state, China could expand its influence over Central Asia and enhance its economic projects, especially the Belt and Road Initiative. Although weakened Russia is not necessarily a prerequisite for China's expansion. China already deals with the Central Asian republics. It does business with Central Asia. So weakened Russia does not necessarily benefit China. Central Asia is a region that has always been strategically important due to its location and resources. Central Asian republics are key transit points for trade between Asia and Europe. If Russia's power declines, it might create a power vacuum for leadership in this area. China, already a strong player in the region, could step in to fill this gap. China has been building strong relationships with Central Asian countries in recent years by offering investment, trade, and infrastructure development. China has been able to increase its influence. If Russia's influence weakens, these nations might look to China for leadership. One of China's most ambitious projects is the Belt and Road Initiative. Launched in 2013, the BRI aims to enhance global trade by building a network of roads, railways, and ports. Notice that there are no military bases that connect Asia with Europe and beyond. Final thoughts. The collapse of Russia would have devastating effects on BRICS, and that in turn will affect all developing countries. But let us know what you think about the implications of Russia's collapse on BRICS. By the way, there are a lot of videos on YouTube about the collapse of China and Russia. I browsed through their channels, and literally all of their videos are about how China and Russia are collapsing soon. And surprisingly enough, they get millions of views. I wonder why. I won't follow the same path, as their videos are not based on reality. But let us know in the comments section. Do you think that Russia and China are collapsing? Also, what impacts would the collapse of Russia have on your own country?